Hello, welcome to the UK Gravel Collective Cycling Podcast, and on this episode, which is episode 7, it's another in the series of the UK Gravel Podcast Go Cycling With, and this time it's Verity, vegan cyclist. Hope you enjoy it. So welcome to another UK Gravel Collective Cycling Podcast, and after the success or not success of me riding around recording myself, decided to do it again, but this time with someone else. So the sound quality is going to be just as bad, but I think I've learnt since last time that it's best to record on the bits that are not fast, that are slightly uphill and are not bumpy, because I had a few messages of people who thought I'd fallen off because of the amount of noise. So on today's episode I've got Verity, who, full disclosure, I ride with quite often because she's one of the local gravel gang. Say hello, Verity.
Hello.
Oh yeah. So first thing what I do when I interview anyone on the podcast is throw them a question that's not related to cycling at all. But I'm going to cheat with you because I know a bit about your background. So, out of all the rocks in the world, what is your favourite?
I didn't have time to think about this, did I?
Well, that's why it's the curveball question.
Oh well, I'd probably actually say quite a rather boring, it's not boring, just any kind of sandstone.
Okay, sandstone, so stuff that wears away after a few hundred years.
Well, the patterns in it, the cross bedding is particularly nice, and exposures in these parts of Worcestershire.
So does Worcestershire have naturally occurring sandstone?
Oh, we've got all sorts of sandstone around here. You think of Kimber and the River Severn and everything.
Okay,
exposed.
So what we need to explain now is, well, you tell them, what you've got a degree in what?
Geology.
Okay, so that's your baby.
Technically, I'm a professional geologist, yeah.
Okay.
Although it's been a while, so
that's
don't give me any grief, geologists.
That's how highbrow the UK Gravel Collective Cycling Podcast is. We're into geology, so hopefully on today's ride we'll get lessons on the ground that we're travelling over, which is currently tarmac. No, I bet there's some sandstone in it.
But there's a nice piece of old railway infrastructure. I do like a good bit of trains and motorways as well. So
yes, well, it wasn't part of one of your jobs just walking along the motorway.
Yep. Yeah, so part of my job is inspecting all the earthworks, so I've walked large sections of the M25. That could be a hobby as well. Well, it has to be. You have to love what you're doing to do it, so it's good fun. I quite like it.
So the other reason that I've asked you to come on the podcast, and you've graciously accepted, is that you're vegan.
I am indeed.
And what I wanted to talk about is the issues around cycling whilst being vegan, because, well, I think most people cycling at some point will involve a cafe.
Absolutely.
Or a pub stop.
Yep.
And if you're not vegan, it's easy, you can go anywhere and basically not even look at the ingredients, and there's a massive choice. But I know from experience riding with you and your husband David, you're both vegan, the problems we have finding somewhere that caters for everyone. So yeah. Is that true?
Well, like you might have alluded to there, I am partial to a bit of hanger. So it can be problematic when, if you haven't brought enough stuff with you, or you assume you're going to be able to get, there'll be a shop with a sandwich or anything like that. It can be, often you can get there and be severely disappointed, which is
Well, I didn't want to bring that up yet, but we have been witness to a couple of Verity meltdowns.
You really haven't. You've only seen the mild. And maybe only one. That afternoon in Kimber was pretty horrific.
Yeah. So it's actually worse than that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
But David never seems to suffer from this. So it can't be a vegans not getting enough nutrition scenario.
Oh, in general, David doesn't need to eat as much as I do. So even if we're not riding, I like to eat about every 4 hours.
Okay.
And if I push that boundary, it can get a bit tetchy.
Well, I think that's the same for everyone, really, isn't it? If you get hunger knock or bonk, I know I get. Well, I just go a bit pathetic, I think. I don't get angry. I just wonder, I feel a bit ill. Oh, I need a chocolate bar. But again, I can go into a shop then.
Yeah, that is.
Grab a chocolate bar, anything, even something I don't like. Eat it and I feel okay. You haven't got that.
No.
So what do you do if you get that scenario where your energy levels are really low?
Yeah.
And the shop's full of animal-based products. What do you do?
Well, for that reason, you will rarely find me more than 5 meters from a flapjack. I've got one on me at all times.
Yeah.
So, your phone, purse, keys, flapjack.
Yeah.
That's the kind of rule of thumb for me. Which is why I've got 2 in my bag today. Because you can't just walk into a shop and pick up a chocolate bar. But you can pick up fruit pastels, Skittles. So there's quite a few, if you need a hit of sugar, there's quite a few
emergency things.
Accidentally vegan products.
But haven't a lot of these got gelatin in?
No, not these days.
Okay.
Like Haribo does, but even Marks and Spencer's Percy Pigs do a pig-free edition now.
Oh yeah. I bought some of the Christmas ones. They were animal free. I was just crossing a road and entering the bottom of the Licky Hills, which at this time of day
will be heaving.
It's probably full of people walking with dogs and prams. So we'll come back to veganism later. I think you should tell everyone a bit about riding, because you don't just do gravel, do you?
I can't hear you over the crunching leaves.
Oh, we're in the studio really. That's just me rubbing my hands together with some old crisps. Yeah, so you don't just do gravel riding, do you?
No.
What else do you do?
I ride fat. So I think that's how I got back into riding a few years ago. Was because my other half, David, obviously it's in the Dales Divide. He's got, I think it's collection. Saw some things saying, I've not got a problem, I've got a collection. So David has a collection of bikes, yes. And he's had a fat bike for a long time. And we went on holiday to Northumberland. And he, oh,
look at that live dismount.
Gary didn't just fall off.
That was ungainly, but I think I saved it because I didn't end up on the floor.
No.
Go on, yeah, David's fat bike.
Yeah, so when we went on holiday, we were going to Northumberland, right, there's lots of beautiful beaches. So David took his fat bike and a 29 plus.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't ridden, I'd kind of stopped riding for a few years before that. And we were just messing about on the beach, just riding over rocks and just, basically, it's impossible to ride a fat bike without a smile on your face. And
that's true.
have I gone the wrong way? So yeah, before I loved it that much, that before we'd even got home, there was a
Oh, this way.
I know, there was a pair of forks on order, and David was online looking for a fat bike for me. So that's really what kick-started it all again. And then, so we still ride fat on the beach when we can, doing battle on the beach in a couple of weeks. But then I find myself the only female at quite a few of these events on fat bikes, which is entertaining.
Which is something that I started the podcast to try and address. Try and get more people involved. And I mean, it didn't pass me by that the first 4 episode podcasts are all with blokes. But it's hard to get anyone engaged.
It's the ratios though.
It's what?
It's the current ratio, isn't it? So
yeah. Well, how do you think, as a woman, Verity? I mean, you have no trouble joining up to events that are probably 85% blokes. But how can organisers, or even just us lot going for a ride, how can we attract more non-males, if that's the correct term, just to get out on a bike? Well, not even just off-road, just generally throwing a leg over a bike.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I do find that question a bit tricky, because perhaps I don't have, it doesn't bother me. So I come out with you guys, which is generally, we occasionally have some ladies, but it's generally, I describe to my friends, I just ride with a load of beardy men, is what, and that doesn't particularly faze me, and I don't know whether or not other people maybe aren't as confident in going out with.
Because you run a little group of ladies that go mountain biking,
well, I was just about to say, yes, and my little Sunday morning, although it's Sunday morning, I'm not riding with them today, but it is quite funny, because when I go out with the ladies, when we go to the Wire Forest, I have a most amazing time, and I quite often say to David, I much prefer riding with them than him, but that's depends if I've been fed. But I don't know, I think women ride at a lot of women will ride at a different pace. And so it can be, to be honest, it's disheartening when you are the slow person at the back.
Yeah.
I find that quite disheartening myself. But I don't know. But I think there's loads of really good events. I was just telling you about all these. There's so many women's mountain biking and gravel events going on this year. They're all over this year. There's new ones popping up after the success of ones at.
But do you think that to do one of these events, you've got to have done quite a bit of off-road cycling? Otherwise, you're just going to be dropped completely in at the deep end. There's no sort of starter events.
I think the organisers of these do appreciate that lots of women are just getting into mountain biking, or perhaps aren't riding reds and blacks, and they have these great, they have the accessible events. So Bike Park Wales has ladies rides, and Bike Park Wales has got loads of greens and accessible trails, and I see those and they just look amazing, and I haven't made it to any but they look good. So I think they do have a good mixture, and it isn't just,
but I think it's also the deep end. The cycling media as well, because probably 9 times out of 10, if you're watching the YouTube video, it's some guy doing massive gap jumps and flying down a hill on a really expensive downhill mountain bike, and I think that puts, well, not just women off, but blokes as well, because you think, I've got to spend this amount of money.
That's true.
I've got to be that good.
Yeah.
Which is Well, people should watch my videos because there's some old bloke riding really rubbish over not very challenging stuff.
I think with YouTube it is actually, there is loads more people that are just, I would say, riders that are coming into it. And I've heard that, I follow a couple of ladies that are really popular on Instagram and their YouTube channels because they are just showing them progressing.
Yeah.
And they're not doing massive gap jumps, and they're talking about the wobbles that they're having, or losing their mojo, or falling off, and
Yeah.
that struggle to get back on. So it is really good, and I know that they're really popular, which is great.
Well, I definitely watch that sort of YouTube channel rather than full-on gnar stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it's a woman doing the extreme stuff. It's like, well, I talked about in the podcast I did recently about Keep Smiling Adventures. I mean, he looks completely knackered sometimes, but he has got a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And he's doing achievable stuff that anyone can do. Obviously, I mean, some of his stuff he rides from Bournemouth to Yorkshire Dales over 6 days.
Yeah.
Which, you know, might be a bit of a stretch for some of us, but he'll go out bike packing for one night, sleep in the woods, or sometimes, you know, in a hotel.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather watch that sort of stuff.
It's about finding someone who's relatable, isn't it? And I think with social media it is, while some of it is, you know, well edited, there is a lot more relatable things on there, which is good.
Yeah.
And if everyone can find that person, or those few people that inspire them to get out, then
Yeah, well, that's
good.
Again, that's what I'm trying to do, really. Just inspire people, even if it's just to ride to the shops to get their fags.
Absolutely, no, relatable.
So we stopped at a coffee shop. Well, I'm hoping it's going to work. But
Yeah.
just to see the vegan experience. Verity's now looking at the menu. To see if there's anything actually vegan. So this is the dilemma. Anyone with dietary requirements that are not #normal has to go through. Is there anything?
No. So their veggie breakfast comprises cheese and eggs, and then there might be some smashed avocado, but again, no option for any extra bits other than eggs and cheese.
Yeah, we are on the main road.
So yeah, not amazing options, but a bit of a
I mean,
smashed avo.
do you want to check the cake here, see if that's
Okay.
edible? Oh, it looks like we've got thumbs up.
Thanks. Yeah, a banana, chocolate and walnut loaf,
Okay.
and a pecan thing.
Well, do you want to order?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I'll
Let's
just
do it.
order and
Well, I'll come in because it's warmer.
I'm just gonna, I don't know whether to get cake or avocado as well. I've been tempted by the piece of the vegan banana cake, please. And can I get a flat white with oat milk as well, please?
So we've had a sort of successful mission. So there's
Yep.
nothing savoury vegan, but
I could have had some avocado on toast, which would have been quite good. Would have been quite nice. But yeah,
so describe what you've eaten because it's already gone. That's how hungry you were. It was literally that's taken what 30 seconds.
yeah, not long. I think it was like a banana, chocolate and walnut loaf, but they also had some kind of crumble type thing as well. So actually having two choices
Yeah.
is a bonus.
Is that unusual?
Yeah. There's normally maybe a brownie.
Yeah.
is quite a common option.
Yeah. So good in a way, but not ideal.
I'll take
I mean,
it.
I can't see why there isn't more vegan options, because people who are not vegan, it's not going to kill them
No.
to eat the vegan. I mean, it doesn't taste any different, does it?
No, but apparently it does put. We've been told by, let's say, a very large charity who runs historic properties.
Right. I think we can all work that out.
So we went to, we visited a few of their cafes, and I've asked before what vegan options have they got, because normally, quite often it's a flapjack. Well,
Yeah.
it's quite unimaginative.
Yeah.
But then they had this amazing chocolate cake. And they were like, oh, the chocolate cake's vegan. I was like, are you sure? They were like, yeah. I was like, it's not labelled. They were like, oh no, we don't label it because it puts people off. So, in saying that, they're then limiting the people who do want to choose to eat, either by choice or not, like allergies, not getting the opportunity to have this lovely big piece of chocolate cake.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense. It's totally counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's a bit strange that.
Yeah.
But then,
So you're excluding the people it's made for
Yeah.
because you don't want to upset
Do you think it's
people.
because people don't understand veganism? I mean, why are you vegan? What is the reason behind it?
I'm mainly vegan for the animals.
Okay.
Was my driver behind it.
Yeah, and how long have you been vegan?
3.5 years, I think. So, but yeah, found it really easy.
And over that 3.5 years, have things got better?
They have, but ironically, with the independent vegan option, cafes are all closing.
Yeah.
So vegan businesses are shutting down.
Because of lack of custom, or?
Well, I think through all the different, costs of rentals and things like that.
Yeah.
So, whilst they did exist before, a few of them existed, but as veganism has become more popular and becoming more mainstream, less people are visiting independent retailers because they can go elsewhere. But it's definitely, I've known people, friends have been vegan for 20 years, and we're showing them places to go because they're so used to kind of not having options or knowing these places exist.
Well, putting up with what there is.
Yeah, so it's quite nice to be able to open their eyes a bit to different places and choices.
I know that one of the things non-vegans say is that how do you get your nutrition and energy? Well, it doesn't slow you down, does it? Because, I mean, we've just come down a descent, and I said to you at the bottom that my goal was to try and keep you in sight, and I managed it until the last steep bit where you just disappeared. I mean, you are pretty rapid, and you've got most of the Queen of the Mountains on Strava in our local area. And I think it's fair to say you're a bit competitive.
A little bit.
But you just like going fast, isn't it?
Well, that's David's fault. David has always taught me that trails are more fun if you're going faster. And he's got a point.
Yeah.
And they're also easier if you're flying over them.
Yeah, well, it's the fun part, isn't it?
But yeah, it is a lot of fun. But
So yeah, it doesn't hold you back.
No.
But it does. There is a consequence to this, and that is why you're known as Wheel Smasher. So how many sets of wheels have you got through?
At least 2 or 3, I think. Oh yeah, no, because there was another one. I think I managed to break some of the ones before. On the gravel bike, I think I've currently got my 3rd set of wheels on it. And probably my 3rd bottom bracket.
Yeah.
And my last cranks had to be angle grinded off. But it's like not through lack of maintenance. Like, I think it's just the riding that we do. It's hard work on on the bikes and on components because we're out.
Well, yeah,
we're out now. It's early March, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not
out
fair
all
weather
year round.
riders,
No.
are we?
If it's muddy, you just put the extra clothes on. It's certainly not. And I think that's what destroys it. But the last set of wheels are destroyed because I got a bag of litter I picked stuck in the front wheel. So, I mean, that's more of an unusual one.
So you were litter picking, but ride into it to do the litter pick?
Yeah, so I rode to the local village was doing a big litter pick. So I rode there to do it and picked the litter and then thought I'll go and pick some on the way home. So I just decided to pick the road up to my house and failed. And the bag got stuck in the front wheel. And
it's not really an extreme sports incident, isn't it? Is it?
No, I had my litter.
Where, you know, your second attempt on a big gap.
No.
And you landed awkwardly. You just got a rubbish bag stuck in your front wheel.
Yeah. But I'm in training, supposedly. And if I say, well, no, I can't. If I say it now, that means it's it then. It's recorded.
It's just a revelation that you need to share.
Well, I'm having a large birthday later this year.
I thought you were going to say a large birth. Okay, well, it's that 25?
Yeah. And I want to prove to myself that I can still just give myself a target because I'm quite target orientated in some aspects of my life, not all of them. So I'm going to try and attempt to do the Trans-Cambrian in a day, which is normally a 3-day. Is it normally 3-day bike packing?
I think it's 3 days comfortable.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and do it in a day.
Wow. Well,
So
I don't doubt that you will do it.
well, we'll see whether David. I'm still married at the end of it. That's
Because I
probably
think
order.
you're a determined person. From the short time I've known you.
It's a nice way of saying stubborn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm very stubborn.
are you going to do it completely on your own?
No.
Do we need to warn the people you're doing it with that there might be a nuclear fallout if you don't get fed properly?
Well, the friends that are helping me are, I've known them for a long time. Let's just put it that way. And they're vegan, so they can help me.
So they'll
with
be
all the-
carrying lots of snacks.
Yeah. It's funny, like, I think it was made me chuckle a bit when they brought your coffee over and I think they said it was the normal one.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
I like quite enjoy entertaining sometimes, just going, am I abnormal? Is it?
Yeah.
Is the what people?
It is. It's discrimination, really, isn't it? If you think about it. But it's so mainstream that it's just not picked up like that, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that we've joked about it when we're out on rides, but you know, you have issues if the place hasn't got any vegan options, and we've been to towns where there haven't been vegan options in like 3 or 4 shops.
Yeah.
And you have a bit of a meltdown. Which, I mean, we all laugh about it, and you laugh about it, and
You have to laugh.
I hope
about
you
it.
don't mind us taking the piss about it. But obviously, at the end of the day, it's a serious issue, really. You know, 5 or 6 shops, and big chains as well, haven't got anything, or you ask for something and they'll say, "Oh yeah, but it'll take 3 hours to do it."
Yeah.
And the inverted commas normal stuff gets done first. At this point, we managed to drag ourselves away from the cafe and set off again on the bikes. Wow.
And I'm getting hungry, just to warn you.
You know where you're going, so
I do. I think.
you can go at the front.
I'm
And I will
know
try.
where it is.
I will try and keep up with you. Like I said, going down that descent, my goal was to try and keep you in sight.
But I couldn't keep up with you going down through the Lickies down Bono.
That's because I'm twice your weight. I've got lots of inertia. It's not skill, it's physics. Right, so I need to paint a picture for the podcast. So basically, going on a bridle path down the edge of a ploughed field. And thankfully, the bit we're on hasn't been ploughed. And this is technically Dudley, I think. I think it's a DY postcode.
Horses.
You're welcome. It's a DY postcode, I think, around there, not Worcestershire.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
So we're just breaking for some tiny horses.
No problem.
You're welcome. You need to get a bigger horse when they grow up.
I know. Thank you.
So a quick break there to let some horses past. Always give way to horses because they can kick a lot harder than we can. I know a lot of people moan about horses, but if it wasn't for horses, we wouldn't be on this bridleway because it wouldn't be here.
Yeah, they do like to churn them up though.
Well, yeah, but they're a necessary evil.
Horses for courses.
And they have really cute eyebrows. Eyelashes, not eyebrows.
That's a bit weird.
Eyelashes? Never looked at a horse's eyelash. I think you need
say I
to.
have.
You need to check that out.
I'm a little bit disturbed now. Wake up.
I don't think there's anything wrong in collecting pictures of horses' eyelashes.
Help me.
Oh, when we said the Lickies wasn't going to be busy and it wasn't, why is this bridle path so busy? It's almost like people have got free access to the outdoors.
And beautiful bridleways.
Well, you can hear the gears going down.
Yeah.
Oh, run out. No, not really.
So I don't have my Garmin on today, which means it's not beeping uncontrollably at me.
So you're not going to shout at it or at us?
Yes, for going the wrong way. Yeah. I guess.
So we're out climbing up, well, it's a bit of a rutted bridle path called Bradford Lane, I think, which locals riders will know. And I've been riding this since mountain bikes began, and this has always been a muddy trough filled with bricks. It's not too bad the last few years, apart from a bit of erosion. I've got to say, I mean, we live what, 5-6 miles from Birmingham, really, if you count Northfield as Birmingham, but we've got a lot of countryside on our doorstep, really.
I think we're so lucky. It's just endless. And I think COVID, ironically, helped push the exploration further.
Yeah.
Because we love to, I mean, we've got an OS map in the hallway of our house. And I love to.
Is that so you can find the kitchen?
It's a thing we do now because we're both obsessed with maps.
Yeah.
Wherever we live, we get an OS map.
Oh, with you in the centre
with
of
a house
it.
in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
So we just can spend ages just looking at the map, looking for bridleways that we haven't done, or ones that look interesting.
Yeah.
And then basically devising a route to go and try them.
And that's what is great about the gravel bike, isn't it? Because some of that route's going to be on tarmac.
Yeah.
And where we live, there's not hundreds of miles of bridle path. Well, there is, but they're all interspersed with tarmac bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely lockdown was an opportunity to get out and explore.
I love the fact that I find it really difficult now to actually go anywhere for a bike ride still.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, you mean
2 years later than...
You mean actually go in the car and go anywhere? Yeah.
It's like, well, why?
Yeah.
Like when we go, oh, shall we go for a ride? We just,
Ride from the
which
door.
direction from home do we go?
Yeah.
And that's just totally ingrained
Yeah.
in my mind now.
It is for me, but also I have the guilt of, do I need to do this journey in the car?
But yeah, when we go on rides, don't we? If you stick in the chat anyone up for a ride, literally it's based around which cafe can we go to, or
Yep, 100%.
what. And it's like, oh, we've been south a few too many times. Let's go west, and then we go through phases of heading out. I mean, there's tracks around Kimber and Stourport are pretty special.
Yeah.
But yeah, yesterday we were out, and I think I'd say we saw about 6 cars, other than on like the really busy main roads that we had to crisscross. There was just nothing. It's just amazing.
Well, I like the fact that the ride we did when it was raining, and we did Poplars Lane, and we all got absolutely soaked. We just went straight to the pub.
Yeah.
This is like an ideal situation. Go and wipe your feet on their mat.
I think their beer garden was a little bit muddy when we left.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I think I enjoy most about our rides, is that they're very rarely time bound. We're so lucky that we've got the opportunity just to kind of just go out and then, oh, shall we go to the pub? Yeah, why not? As a car back. Because you can be, like I say, like last week we were wet. We'd already stopped for... Did I even get any food at that place? I didn't, did I?
Yeah, that was the nice vegan sausage roll, wasn't it?
But it's like, well, let's go to the pub and have a bag of crisps and a pint.
Yes, it's not performance-based rides, it's fun rides, isn't it?
It's definitely not performance-based. But then, no, I think we say that.
Yeah, but I'm not constantly looking at my average speed thinking,
well, no, we don't care about that, do we?
I need to go faster.
No.
I'm looking at how far we've gone thinking, whew, could do with a cake now.
It's like cake miles, that's what we should...
Yeah. Well, I think we did start a rule that you've got to do minimum 15 miles before cake. But that sort of went out the door, really. Because you can't pass a really nice cake shop if you get to 10 miles, you think, oh, there's a cake there. I'll just top up my energy levels.
Well, that a ride I went on a couple of weeks ago, the bridle path, when the route was planned in the evening, it was all going to be okay. Then it rained overnight.
Yeah.
And so the first bridle path we got to, that was about 2 miles from home, my wheels stopped turning. It was that clogged, and with my mud guards on, it was just impossible.
Well, you don't have to tell me about walking with your bike because the wheels don't turn.
I think there's a video about that, isn't there?
Yeah. What, on a YouTube channel that you can find by searching UK Gravel Collective on YouTube? Possibly.
But saying on that ride, that bridleway, the Garmin then wouldn't shut up. I had a massive meltdown, told David I wasn't riding with him, and I just left him. I just rode off, and I was under 5 miles from home, but I knew there was a cafe.
Oh yeah.
So I decided that instead of going home, I was going to take myself to the cafe. And it was at these crossroads, and David was like, is she going to go left to home? Is she going to go right? And of course I turned right, and he pulled up alongside me and was like, shall we go to the cafe?
Let's go right there.
This is like So yeah, you can have a cafe stop less than 10 miles in.
Yeah, when Verity's having a meltdown.
In extenuating circumstances. But those I don't know what was going on.
Does the meltdown occur just before the wheels get smashed?
I think I did throw the bike down in the field on that time. I've never damaged my bike deliberately.
Or anyone else.
Let's just say David has patience.
Yeah, well, I think cycling does run through both of your blood, because I'm sure I've seen a wedding photo of you two on a tandem.
No, we did our first dance on bikes.
Oh,
On separate bikes.
right.
And I choreographed a routine the night before in the woods.
See, that is so you, because anyone else would have just ridden around the field on a bike. You choreographed a routine.
Yeah. And it was, nobody knew about it either.
Yeah.
So we had to let the ushers know on the day, because they had to kind of arrange people so that we could they introduced us at the reception. We cycled through the wedding venue, out the steps into the grass on the back of the venue.
Were you on a step through bike? Do you not have dress issues?
The dress, there was a bit of,
You didn't
the
get
dress
caught
has
in
got
the
a
chain.
wait, it's got a nice chain mark on it. It's pretty cool. And all my guests were shouting, your dress, as it was like about to get caught up
Were
in
you
the
clipped
wheel.
in?
No, I don't like. After my near leg breaking incident, I don't think I'll ever ride clipped in ever again. When I rode clipped in for a little bit, but I just remember this one occasion, funny enough, at the junction where I had a meltdown a few weeks ago. I pulled up to this junction, there was a car behind me, and I just went splat sideways and just like lay on the floor laughing, and the people in the car behind were just like, what do we do, is she okay?
Yeah.
David's also wetting himself, so I managed to pick myself up off the floor, and then David's chain fell off and he was still clipped in, so he's like hopping across this junction with his chain dangling around.
People thought it was like the circus had come to town.
I tell you what, I bet they were thinking there's crazy people. So yeah, flats all the way. But I
Well,
don't think
it
that holds
certainly
me
doesn't
back.
hold you back.
No.
So.
I think it would help
Again,
on the
it's
climbs.
it's sort of the thing that I try and promote, like no rules, just ride.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to turn up in hobnail boots and ride your bike, fine, I don't care.
Well, many of our rides, somebody normally turns up on an inappropriate
Yeah.
bike, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Inappropriate,
and it makes
as in,
it
like,
more
heavily
fun.
laden with sleeping bags. And,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the trails we ride on gravel bikes, they actually aren't the appropriate bike for it. But that makes it more fun, because
Yep.
it's more of a challenge.
no.
Especially if you're laden down with frying pans and pancake batter.
Oh, now that was good. Is there a video about that, Gary?
What, on the YouTube channel?
I think there might be.
Oh, there's been a lot of sniffing in this ride.
No.
Apologies to anyone listening.
So you missed the nice cross-bedding in that sandstone we just went past.
Ross, what?
Cross-bedding.
Well, I can hardly see. I'm breathing out of everywhere but my mouth at the moment. Well, we're nearing the end of the ride, and I want to thank Verity for not volunteering, because I think I coerced her into it. I'm talking about being a vegan cyclist, and I hope that it's give everyone an insight into the trials and tribulations of it. But I also hope that you can hear me over the noise of the M5. which we're just crossing. I hope it's going to encourage other people, vegans or people who are not vegan, that you can get out on your bike. There are difficulties, but you can overcome them. And I hope it's just inspired people to get on the bike. So thanks, Verity.
It's been a pleasure.
And I think we need to plan the next ride with a pub, because we haven't been to one.
I know, no pub today.
But,
I'll go, oh, which way are you going? That way.
so thanks for listening. And don't forget to check the other podcasts in this series. This is episode 7, I think it's going to be. Check out the YouTube channel, Instagram, ukgravelco.com. And I'll talk to you, not see you, on the next one. Bye.